Hey everyone, my name is Melody Parlett. I'm a managing director at Enable Ministry Partners, and I'm excited to be with you today to talk a little bit about some new functionality inside of Microsoft Teams. They've got a great new feature that is going to help you take your productivity to the next level. It's called Tasks by Planner and To Do. And what this is it's that Microsoft's standalone tools, Microsoft To Do and also Microsoft Planner, are now put into Teams so that you can seamlessly handle your task management in Teams as well as your file management and other communication. We're really excited about this functionality, and so I'm going to show you around what it looks like and what it can do for you. Let me share my screen here and we'll get started. Here we go. Right over here on the left-hand menu, you'll see Tasks by Planner and To Do. If you don't see it right here, you can click on the ... menu and just start typing in tasks, and it will show up here on the list for you. Well, if I had spelled it right, it would show up here on the list for you, right here, Tasks by Planner and To Do. So you can add that to your menu right here. I'll suggest for you, if you plan to use this feature, go ahead and pin it to your menu by right-clicking, and then you should have a button that says pin. Mine says unpin because it's already pinned. But that way you'll have it right here on your short list of features going forward. So let me take you here and show you what it looks like. Microsoft To Do is a to-do list application that's standalone inside of Microsoft, but it has integration into some other tools that you're probably familiar with using. So whether you're using it on its own or you're using it inside of something else already, this is the tool where you would manage your personal individual to-do list items. So I'll show you here a couple of things. Your task list is your default list. So everybody gets a task list when they get started here. And this is a basic to-do list. This is an upgrade from anyone who is keeping paper sticky notes, or perhaps you're using a sticky note app to keep your to-do list. Using the tasks list here allows you to prioritize items, set due dates, and even have yourself sent automatic reminders when your item is coming up to be worked on. So let me show you what that looks like. It can be just as easy as clicking Add a Task and naming your task. We'll call this one Test for Webinar. Okay, so I added in my task and it defaulted right down here on my list. So I have mine sorted right now based on the due date. And I did not give a due date for the webinar, so it put it right at the top of the list underneath all of my items that do have due dates on them. So I'll go into our test task here so you can see some of the features that are available. So you can mark your task with a priority. Medium is the default, but you can mark it as important or urgent if you'd like to. You can set a due date. You can add additional notes or description here into your item. You can also add sub-items or a checklist on top of what you're working on. So I might say, as a part of my testing for the webinar, I'm going to check my microphone and check my, well, let's see, I'll say brush my hair, and etc. So you can add in a list of things here to do. So this is a great, easy way to just get your tasks down on paper or digital paper, if you will. There's some more things that you can do up here. If you've got a recurring task, you can copy it, you can move it to a different list, etc. So lots of options here, things you can do with your tasks. Once you're finished with the task, you can just cross it right off the list. So let's say I already did all my testing for this webinar because I am in it right now. So I've crossed that one off my list. So task management is as easy as that. That's all you've got to do. If you are like me and you end up with lots and lots of items on a to-do list, I have a difficult time remembering all the things these days. So I keep my items separated into a couple of different lists. So I have one here for just my to-do list. This important list will automatically take anything off of any of your lists that you've marked important and put all your important items right in one place for you. Planned is any item that has a date on it that you're working on it. Things assigned to me are tasks that specifically have my name on them. And we'll get to that a little more in a minute when we look at Planner. Planner is the tool you use to manage team tasks or shared tasks. Friday meeting items. So this is just a meeting. This is just a personal list that I've made for myself. I run a once a week meeting. And so I keep a running agenda here of things I want to talk about in our meeting. This list has a little people icon here next to it, and that's because I've shared this list. So if there's someone in your organization that you work with closely on a regular basis, or you share a lot of to-do items, you can share your personal task list, create a personal list to share with someone else on your team. Anyone in your organization can join in on a task list. So one nice benefit of having a shared list is that you can also make an assignment of who you're assigning to which task. So that is helpful to know who's responsible for it, in addition to when it's due and that kind of thing. So that's very helpful. If you really grow to love to do, you can even include maybe your grocery list or some other things on here as well. Since Teams is functional on across all your devices, mobile and everything, this functionality can go with you wherever you go. So I love to use this for errands and other things on a personal list as well. So this is tasks. One thing that I get asked a lot about is, how do I take the requests that I'm getting inside of Teams and easily turn them into tasks. I don't want to miss something from my boss. So if someone sends you a casual message inside of chat and says, hey, would you mind taking a look at this for me? Or you see something posted in Teams and someone has tagged you to say, hey, check this out. There's a way to easily attach those things here inside of your task list. So let me show you what that looks like. So I'm going to pull up, oh, hey, I have Zach pulled up here. I'm going to go ahead and take this message. He said, hey, what should I do with this thing that I got? I'm going to need to research that before I respond to him. So I click on my ... menu. And down here under More Actions, one of the items you'll see is Create a Task. So I can click on that. And then I give my task a name. I'm going to say Research for Zach. And I can give it a due date and add some other notes if I'd like. I can go ahead and set a reminder so that I don't forget to tackle this, especially if I need it done by the end of the day or something. So let's see, I'll set a reminder for tomorrow at, let's go with 8 a.m. I want to make sure to tackle this first thing in the morning. And then I just send. So now if I switch back over to my task list, I'll see, oh, Research for Zach has showed up right here on my list. Very exciting. When I click into it, it will have automatically added a link back to the message that this task is about, and it will include in the actual message that I wanted to make a task around. So that's very convenient. It will automatically add all that information so that you don't have to worry about keeping track of those things that might come in through other Teams communications. So that works inside of chat, and it also works in Teams on a message board. So if you had a message, we could do the same ... on a message posted in Teams, and you could click on Create a Task, and you'll get that same box that pops up, so you can just add that right to your list as well. So super convenient way to keep track of all of your to-dos and ditch those sticky notes. Okay, I'm going to switch over and talk a little bit about Planner now, which is the second half of Tasks by Planner and To Do. So we looked here at the to-do section. Now I'm going to move down here and look at the planner section. So Microsoft Planner is it's a tool for shared tasks or project management within a team. It lets you create plans and then fill them out with tasks that they include checklists. You can include files, you can label, you can add due dates, basically everything that you need to make sure that group tasks are getting seen through to completion. So the tasks are organized around buckets, and I'll just go ahead and open one up here and we can just take a look at what it looks like together. So you get several different views inside of Planner. Let me show you the bucket view. So here inside Planner, you organize around buckets of things, and you can set those buckets up to be whatever makes sense for your project. Maybe you have a bucket for each person, or maybe you have buckets for several different kinds of things. Here, I'm planning Vacation Bible School coming up this summer. So I have my general to-do list. I also have a list of meetings we need to have and schedule, and a list of supplies we need to buy. You can easily add more and more buckets. It's as easy as clicking on add a bucket and giving it a name. We'll call this one test bucket. So now I have a bucket. Once I've got my bucket set up, I'm ready to be adding tasks to them. So you can add a task. Again, this should look pretty familiar because we've been using tasks earlier in this demo. You just give the task a name. We'll call this one set up tables for registration. So all I have to do is give a task a name, but I've got the ability to do a lot more inside of here. So let me, oh, I closed it. Let me show you what that looks like. Very easy to mark your items off as you go. Give it a little check mark here. And then if you want to go back into those completed items, you can uncheck the box. So you've got a quick list of actions you can do with the ... You can label this. You can say, hey, I need volunteers to make this happen. So I'll need to recruit some volunteers. Maybe you want to communicate about this. So this is going to require some help from the communication team. You can decide what your labels are. Again, it's all very customizable. If you go inside, you've got even more options inside the task. So you can assign it to a person. I'll go ahead and assign this one to me. And then you can decide on which bucket it should go to, what kind of priority is this item, and progress on it. So have you started this? Is it finished? Where does this live on the list? I'm going to say this is not started because I just found out about it. So I can set a start date and a due date. And I'll say my start date for this is Saturday, but my due date is Sunday. We're going to do a big push for VBS registration on Sunday. So you've also got a spot here where you can add in notes. And these notes might be directions to someone else on the team as to what you're looking for on this task. It might be to say, hey, while you're setting up tables, make sure to look at the way we did it last year. There's a picture. You can also add attachments. So you could attach the picture from last year right inside here if you want. You've got the availability to add sub items or a checklist that are a part of this task. And then here at the bottom, you've got the comments field. And this is great because this is where people can let you know what they've been working on. So I can say, I contacted facilities and reserved the tables. And there, now I've got a record of what's going on this task. It's right up to date. I'll mark it as in progress now that I've started working on it. So that is tasks inside of Planner. And if I decide that this doesn't belong in this bucket, I can just drag and drop my items between buckets. And I can reorder things on my buckets. So if I wanted this item to be top of the list, you can just drag and drop these as well. So you really can set this up visually any way you'd like to see it. It makes it very, very customizable. Now, if you've got an item on here that is past the due date, it's going to show up in red, which is really helpful. You'll be able to see at a glance where things might be falling behind or where someone might need some help. So that's great. So this is the bucket view. You've also got, as you saw a minute ago, this list view. So if you prefer to see all of your items laid out in a list, that is absolutely possible. My favorite thing, though, is this charts view. So as a project manager, you can take a look very quickly and get a snapshot of what's going on in your project, what the status is. So I can see I've completed a lot of my tasks already. I've got several that haven't been started yet, only one that's late. That's pretty good at this point. I can look and see where are the items that we're working on, which ones haven't been started yet. Most of them are here in the supplies. We haven't really done a great job gathering up our supplies for this year yet. So that's something I'll want to focus on in our next team meeting. I can look at priority. I only had one urgent item on my list here, and that one's been completed, so I'm happy with that. And then I can look by team member and see who's got tasks assigned to them and how are they doing with that. So I can see most everybody is doing all right. Looks like my friend Ellie has one late item here, so I might check in with her to see if she needs any help or if she's got stuck and how we can get her unstuck. So that's a really powerful tool as a project manager to be able to see what's going on and quickly get a handle on your projects and help your team. And also from the screen, you can add tasks directly here. So they just make it pretty easy to use. So that's the functionality of Planner. A wonderful thing about Planner is that you can set up plans as standalone plans, but if you're using Teams, then you've already got your data organized by department or by event. And so you've got channels listed for your events. And I'm going to go down here to my sharing church team. So I've got my channels here, and I know that children's ministry is where the bulk of our VBS planning happens. So I can build my plan right here inside of my channel so that everybody on this team has access to it, and with one click can easily see what's going on that plan. So this should look familiar, just a different way to get to it. You can also create a new plan right from inside the channel that you're in. Let's see, maybe I'll make one for Christmas. Oh, I already got one made for Christmas. But you can add a new plan right from inside the channel. What you would do is you would click on the plus at the top, and then you would type tasks. And I only had to get to the T, and it shows up right here, tasks by planner and to do. So it will let me build a new one right here. It's going to ask, what is the name of your plan? So I'm going to go ahead and name my plan. We're going to call this one decorating. It's my Christmas channel. I know there's going to be some decorating to do. If you've already got a plan, you could attach an existing plan, but we're going to make a new one here. You can also have teams automatically post in the channel about this. So you can make that announcement automatically that says, hey, we've got a new plan, a new project. So that's all you have to do is give it a name, and then it will show up right inside your channel. And this is what a brand new plan looks like. You get this to-do bucket by default, and you can add and grow it from there. So very quick and easy to get started. The other place that you can get started is actually inside that tasks by planner and to do menu item. So if you are on this screen, it's just as easy to go and add a new task list or a new plan. You just click this plus button here, and then you give it a name. We'll call this one Easter egg hunt. And then I get to decide, is this a task list or is this going to be a planner plan? If it's a task list, then I want it to create inside of my tasks. If this is a plan, then I want it to create inside of that relevant channel that we were looking at. So I will post this one here in my Anywhere Kids account. And this public one is the one that I share with my volunteers. I definitely want my volunteers' help planning our Easter egg hunt. So I'm doing that right here. I've picked my team, I've picked my channel, and then I just hit create. So very easy to get started, very easy to add team members and get them updated. So as you get started in Planner, I'll encourage you a couple of best practices. One is we have learned that less buckets is better. So make bigger buckets. And for the reason that most people prefer to scroll down than across. And as you add buckets, they do add across the screen. So we would say 3, 4, 5 buckets, but kind of limit it as much as possible to have nice big buckets. And then add your tasks inside underneath. Outside of that, oh, I didn't show you the schedule. So every time you make a plan, you will automatically be given a calendar. And on this calendar, all of your due dates or start dates, anything you've designated with a date on your calendar will show up here on this, the planner calendar. So you can see on the schedule what's going on. And I'll show you one that's a little more built out so you can see a better view of the calendar. So here's my VBS planning, and you can see I've got a couple of things coming up. I got to email my volunteers out tomorrow. I got to set up some tables between Saturday, and that's due on Sunday. So that's where we are with this weekend. And then it will show you here on the side your unscheduled tasks. So if there are items that are not on the schedule and you would like to put them on the schedule, you can absolutely do that as well. So let's put a due date on these laundry baskets and say this is due by the end of May. And then if I look over at my calendar, it'll show me, I went one too far, but the end of May has got my laundry basket task on here now. So the calendar can be another view that's helpful if you like to see things laid out based on date. Okay, well, I hope that, that this tutorial of tasks by Planner and To Do was helpful, and I hope it inspires you guys to go out and create some lists, create some plans, and start tracking those task items, whether they're individual or as a part of a team. Start putting those here inside of Teams where you've got the ability to access them from wherever you are, on whatever device that you're on, and the ability to share visibility into group projects and things everyone's working on together. It really does make a difference when it comes to collaboration, and being able to stay on the same page will sure make your project meetings shorter. You'll be able to see what needs your attention before things get too far past due. So a whole bunch of really great features there. Thank you very much.